Hello, everyone. Welcome to Endurance Minded. It's the podcast that aims to redefine what it means to reach your full potential by exploring how movement and mindset impacts our lives and how we can all work to show up as the best versions of ourselves. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas, founder and coach at TEC, and this episode, we're going to spend some time talking about pattern interrupt. So this is something we've danced around in the last few episodes. If you listen to our most recent episode, we talked about seasons of our lives, most specifically the difference between or recognizing seasons of being busy or seasons of work versus seasons of rest. And it's something that I see come up more and more. And I've had some personal experiences with pattern interrupt, with wanting something to happen, and I just couldn't seem to make any progress. And what was happening was that I was doing the same thing and expecting different results, when what I needed to do was interrupt that pattern. I needed to recognize that what I was doing, the action steps that I was taking, were not actually in alignment with the outcome that I wanted. And when I recognized that, and then when I took action to redivert to pattern interrupt, I was able to actually see, or started to see, the pieces fall into place. And so it's got me thinking about how we so often think that we are moving in the direction of the things that we say that we want, or moving in the direction of our goals. We think that we are taking action that should elicit a response that we want, and so often we wind up frustrated. And so today we're going to do just a quick episode, and I want to outline one just personal experience for me, what that pattern interrupt recently has looked and felt like, and ways that you can interrupt the pattern and also take action in the direction of that thing. A key point here is that these pattern interrupts, and when we redirect, they do not have to be heroic action and heroic effort. I think that's what stops a lot of people, is that we think to move in a different direction, it takes a tremendous amount of effort or time or energy, or we have to rethink the whole thing, whatever that thing is. And what I've found is typically just a sidestep, right? It's a pivot. It's a small movement away from the direction that we're moving, that's not eliciting the response that we want or that we're after, and we move in another direction, right? We make a decision that reroutes us, that allows us to sidestep, and we're able to move in a direction that is more satisfying and more in alignment with who we are, what we want to be, and the goals that we want to accomplish. So before I dive into that, if you've listened to the past few episodes, you know that I have co-founded a new company. It's called Impact Initiative. We work with coaches, leaders, entrepreneurs to help them discover what it is that matters most to them and how to execute in the world in alignment with those passions, interests, desires, and so on. We are offering our inaugural Impact Initiative retreat. It is going to be September 28th through October 1st of this year, 2023, in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. It is an unbelievable facility, sits atop the Blue Ridge Mountains, an unbelievable property that's all inclusive. So one of the things that we want to do with this is provide a real opportunity for that pattern interrupt. One of the ways to do that is that all you have to focus on when you are there is getting the answers to the questions that you have, learning, accruing more knowledge, more skills, making connections with other individuals there, making sure that there's time and space for not only yourself, but also a shared experience. So this all-inclusive retreat opportunity includes your stay while you're there. Both myself as well as the other co-founder of Impact Initiative will be facilitating the entire retreat experience. All meals are taken care of. We have a chef that's going to be preparing all of our meals there, providing all of the snacks. So again, all we have to do is focus on what you want to get out of this long weekend. So it's a Thursday through a Sunday. We work to set it up, so hopefully it works with most people's schedules. All you have to do is get yourself there. It's a quick flight, usually a direct flight from wherever you're at into Charlotte, North Carolina. We can arrange transportation if that's best for you. And you arrive on site to a beautiful facility nestled in the mountains of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we are so excited to make this happen. It's been a dream of mine for many years, and I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity to execute on this. Of course, the reason that I bring this up is this is a classic example of a pattern interrupt. If you do not feel like you have the time, the support, the space, the relationships, the knowledge to make decisions in alignment with who you want to be and the goals that you want to accomplish, this is what this opportunity is all about. Remove yourself from where you're at right now, your space, your surroundings, the people that are helping you make those decisions, whatever that looks like, and take an opportunity to reset, pattern interrupt, and get the clarity that you're looking for. So again, that's September 28th through October 1st. We'll put the link in the show notes. You can also find that information at impactinitiative.network. Again, that's impactinitiative.network. There is a button at the top that allows you to click through to what we call our destination retreats. So if you were looking for a real opportunity to interrupt, please take advantage of this. Spots are limited. It will fill up. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us directly, or again, you can find all the information you need either in the show notes of this episode or at impactinitiative.network. If you're like me, you know how important it is to fuel your activities and ensure you're recovering properly in between workouts. That's where the Amino Company comes in. With their products, Heal and Perform, I'm able to access sustained energy and increase power output during my workouts, as well as recover faster and more efficiently. I use Heal for recovery. It's a 100% science-backed formula that was originally developed for astronauts to maintain muscle mass in space. Taking Heal after my training has allowed me to increase my recovery and decrease soreness, making my body feel stronger and healthier overall. This patented science-backed amino acid blend is designed to replenish your sore muscles after tough workouts. Heal's great for post-workout nutrition and is scientifically more than 3 times more efficient at triggering muscle growth and repair than any other protein source. Perform is my go-to for before and during training sessions. Perform has been scientifically proven to improve muscle performance, reduce fatigue and recovery times, and increase the benefits from your workouts. Perform is formulated to minimize muscle breakdown during exercise and maximize muscle growth after exercise. Since taking Perform, I've seen increases in my maximal strength in the gym, as well as feel the benefits during endurance training. It provides sustained and lasting energy throughout my day without any crash or harmful side effects. I've been using Perform and Heal from the Amino Company daily, and I've seen huge improvements in both my performance and recovery. As a business owner and athlete, I'm beyond excited to have found something that helps me get the most out of my training and recovery so that I can maximize my precious training time. So right now, when you visit aminoco.com/EM30 and use the discount code EM30 at checkout, you get 30% off. So if you're looking to take your recovery to the next level and try science-backed products designed to boost your performance by up to 3 times, then visit aminoco.com/EM30 and use the discount code EM30, that's EM30 at checkout, to get 30% off plus a free gift with purchase. That's aminoco.com/EM30. Use offer code EM30 at checkout. Moving on, let's talk about pattern interrupt. Let's talk about, again, very quickly, I just want to deliver to you guys some opportunities to rethink what this could look like. Like I said earlier, the thing that tends to be disruptive, or from my perspective, looks to be most disruptive for most individuals is they imagine that it's going to take some heroic effort. In all actuality, small cumulative efforts, small decisions that we make can help us to reroute. So what are some ways to pattern interrupt? Again, to define what this scenario looks like, I want to just make it clear that this is for anyone that feels like you're taking action, feels like you're doing all the things that you need to be doing, feels like you're making decisions in alignment with how you want to show up in the world, how you want to show up for yourself, but you're just not getting the results you want. Or if you're not that person, if you haven't had the time, the space, the clarity, the energy, whatever it is, to even think about what that looks like, the pattern interrupt also helps you find that space as well. So regardless of which end of the spectrum you're on, this is an important construct, an important action that you can take that actually moves the needle. And again, the reason that this is so important and such an impactful and effective methodology is that we don't know what we don't know, and we can't see what we can't see, right? It's a very forest through the trees scenario where we are looking for answers that we might just not be able to see, right? They might be in front of us, they might be behind us, they might be far off in the distance. But when we're on the ground and we got our head down and we're just trying to do the best we can, we can't see the answers to what we're trying to accomplish. So, a few ways to pattern interrupt. First, and one of my favorites, is just go for a walk. Right? Again, small things. Doesn't have to be crazy. Doesn't have to be a super long walk. 15 minutes, right? Could be in the morning, could be in the middle of the workday, could be in the evening. Literally, whenever it works for you, take some time and go for a walk. Most specifically, I would recommend no devices, no podcasts, no music. Now, I know that helps some people. So if you are an individual that truly finds clarity by having something going on, in your earbuds or whatever, then fine. But maybe even just try it without some distraction and see how that works. You can always go back, but go for a walk, right? What this is it's a dedicated time. And what it does is it tells your brain this is a dedicated time and space that is wholly different than what the rest of your day looks and feels like. What that's going to elicit is different thoughts, feelings, and emotions than the rest of your day feels like. So I can't stress enough what a believer I am in just going for a walk, right? Doesn't have to be heroic, doesn't have to take up a tremendous part of your day. Set aside some time. Doesn't even have to be every day, right? Every other day, 3 days a week, set a goal that's realistic and just try to get out. And just allow yourself to think in a way that feels natural. You don't have to force it, but go for a walk and see what happens. The other one that I like, specific to fitness, is to switch up your workout. So if you're someone who thinks of themselves as an athlete, or you're an individual who is actively working to pursue a healthy body through the lens of consistent movement practice, then this can be one where we get in a rut, right? We're like, well, why am I plateaued? Why don't I feel great? Why am I feel like I'm kind of backsliding? Sometimes we just need to switch it up. Right? We get into a routine, right? You wake up every morning, you go for a run, you go to the gym, you go do whatever. Typically, we start to follow similar patterns. We do similar movements. The body responds to variation. Now, I'm not saying that every workout needs to be different. You need to follow a progression. You need to have consistency in particular movements and methodologies. However, just switch it up, right? If you're feeling like you're in a rut, if you feel like that you're not making the progress you want, just do something that feels right, and see what that does for you, right? Again, so much of this is just a mental switch, right? It's rewiring those neural pathways. We get stuck in that rut. What I have also found is when I switch up a workout, it gives me a tremendous amount of clarity in other areas of my life, right? So again, by cueing the brain to think differently and by cueing the body to move differently, it also opens up other opportunities for us to do other things differently. I can't tell you how many times I've switched a workout up and then had an idea related to work or some other goal that I never could have gotten to or wasn't able to get to otherwise. So you're just freeing up that space and energy and cueing your body and mind to think differently. So don't be afraid to switch it up from the workout perspective and just do something different. And the way that I like to think about this or recommend doing it is do what feels right on the day, right? Allow yourself to check into your body and just say, what would be fun? What would be exciting? How would I like to move? What would be a fun challenge, right? Any version of that, and just see where that takes you, right? And if it's totally different than what you normally do, that's okay. Now make sure it's something that you're capable of doing, right? We don't want you to get injured, but let's assume that you have the general capability to kind of move within a certain parameter. Great, go do that. And then maybe do that all week, right? There's no limitation to that. Just allow yourself the freedom and flexibility to move around and use that fitness or use your fitness to free up some space. Next thing is to take advantage of a new experience or opportunity. So this could be like sign up for a workshop, right? Take advantage of a talk. Go have coffee with a group of people that you've never interacted with before. Great example of this would be the Impact Initiative retreat, to put in a shameless plug there. But the key is you have to provide yourself opportunities to do something different. If you want something different, you have to do something different. So if there is an experience, right, maybe you can learn a new skill. Is there an online course you can take? Is there a webinar series? Is there something that you can tap into? With TEC, we do a monthly community event series that's free for anyone that wants to join. An opportunity to think differently about movement and mindset. So there's so many opportunities out there. Can you find something that you can engage in that allows you to redirect your energy, your thought, your focus, so that you can think about and arrive at answers to things that are different than you typically would have? Next is to engage in a new activity or hobby. It's kind of in the same vein as switching your workout up, but I want to zoom out a little more broadly because, again, we can get stuck in a routine. Is there something else that you'd like to do, right? A few years ago, it was wintertime, and I was feeling like I was in a rut, and I was feeling like I wanted something new to do. And specifically, I wanted to do something new that didn't revolve around exercise. So much of where I put my energy is in exercise, right? So if I want to try something new, my first place my brain goes is, I'll try a new modality of movement, okay? And I just felt like I kind of wanted something else. So what did I do? I joined a crocheting club, right? Met once a week in the evenings, and new group of people, totally different than I would have ever done before. And what it ended up doing is actually providing amazing conversation. The people there were awesome. It was a very tactile skill. It provided a tremendous amount of focus. I had to learn something new. I was not good at it, so it pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And it really just broke me free of kind of that rut that I felt like I was in. And it allowed me to think differently about solutions to problems. The focus time that it took to actually create these things we were doing actually freed up a lot of space for me to think differently about other problems. I found myself brainstorming while I was focused on crocheting these, hats and whatever we were doing. So that's a silly example, but again, it's okay to totally redirect and reroute, right? Put yourself in a scenario that is intentionally different so that you can get answers intentionally in a way that is different. So there's a few just, again, very easy ways to pattern interrupt. Again, I don't want you to think that or walk away from this conversation thinking that it has to mean that you quit your job, right? Or that you have to go on a month-long vacation, or that you have to, totally change your business model. That's not necessarily the case. Now, in these small pattern interrupts, it might lead you to realizing that some of those things that I just mapped out could be good solutions to issues that you're facing or problems that you'd like to solve. But you don't have to start there, right? Start small. Just do something you can do weekly, small bits daily, to arrive at answers or arrive at solutions in a way that is wholly different. So now let's talk about taking action, right? So this is the action piece is where we get hung up, right? It's all well and good to talk about all these things we can do. We can go for walks, we can sign up for courses, we can go to retreats and webinars and whatever it is. We have to do it though, right? We have to take action. We have to take some step that actually moves us in that direction, right? We have to sign up for the course. We have to take the walk. We have to give ourselves the grace and opportunity to switch up our workout and know that that's a good thing, right? Whatever that sounds like. The first one, and this one might, at the risk of sounding overly critical, and I'll give a personal example so that everyone knows that I'm not just saying this and pointing fingers. I've very recently been in this position. But the first step in taking action is you have to be honest with yourself. And what I mean by that is, are you actually doing what you need to do to arrive at the solutions to meet your goals? And I want you to be honest, because what I've seen is that when we are honest, oftentimes the answer is no. Are you doing everything you can to move you in the direction of the things you say that you want? Right? If we talk about fitness, are you doing everything you can to maintain consistency? If we talk about work, are you doing everything you can to focus your energy on the thing that's going to move you forward? Right? Building that business, launching that project, growing that team. Are you really doing that? Because what I've found is that when we're honest, what we're typically doing is things that can keep us busy, things that help us feel like we're moving the needle, but aren't really in that direction. Right? I'll give you an example. Again, I told you I'll give you a personal example so you know that I'm not pointing fingers. And I'm not saying this to say that you're not working hard enough or you're not grinding hard enough or whatever, but I do want you to be honest. Because if you're really doing everything you can, you're going to get different results. Right? My personal example, about a month ago, I was really struggling with work and wondering why it didn't feel like anything I was doing was getting traction and catching fire. I was like, man, I'm super busy. I feel like I'm working hard. I feel like I'm applying myself. And it just felt like at every turn, it wasn't working out. Right now, my specific goal was related to TEC, and we want to bring more coaches onto TEC. We want to help coaches grow their coaching businesses by leveraging all of the tools and resources that TEC has put into place so that we can help coaches build successful coaching business. That's something I care deeply about. That is why TEC exists, is first and foremost to help coaches build successful coaching businesses. By way of doing that, we impact thousands and thousands of athletes' lives around the world. And I just felt like it wasn't taken. I was like, why can't we, where are the coaches, right? What's happening? And when I was honest with myself, what I realized is that I told myself I was spending time in the service of solving that, in the service of moving that mission and vision forward. But when I actually looked at, and I actually did this, I took stock of, okay, what's my calendar look like? Where are my priorities? What's my to-do list? What are my tasks? Those things didn't add up to actually being in service of moving that mission and vision. Some of it was there, but it wasn't full dedication. I was shying away for whatever reason. I did a bunch of stuff to help me be busy so I could say that I had done stuff, but I really wasn't doing everything I can in service of that vision and mission. It was something that I cared deeply about, or it is something I care deeply about. And so I was frustrated. And what it took was, one, being honest, and two, a pattern interrupt. And we'll walk through these action steps. But I want to give you a personal example because it's hard to butt up against that. I was like, man, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. Because I had to be honest. I had to say, no, Taylor, you're not. You're actually not. Yeah, you're super busy. Yeah, you talk to a lot of people. Yeah, you're doing all these things. But the thing that you're frustrated about is not the thing you're working on. Not completely, not to the fullest extent of your ability. It's not where you're focusing your time and energy. And so, of course, I was getting those results. Right? Of course, it wasn't going like I planned. So I want you to be honest. And if at the other side of that audit, you really are doing everything you can, fantastic. Hats off. Keep at it. It will work out. But I bet that there's opportunity for growth there because we fill our time with lots of different things so that we can feel like we're moving in the direction of our goals. But there's really so much opportunity for growth typically. So be honest, and then we'll take these next few steps. Once you're honest, develop a plan with clear action steps. So I'll use myself as an example again. When I said, okay, I'm actually not doing that. I'm actually not spending my time in alignment with where I want to. What do I do? All right, so I got to develop a plan. Okay, if my goal is to do this one thing really, really well, what do I need to do? So a plan without action is just, it's a dream. Right? You have to be able to execute. So develop a plan. Say, okay, here's my real audit of where I'm spending my time. Here's my plan to get there. And then here's the steps I'm going to take to move in the direction of that goal. Right? So I want you to get specific. We've talked about this a lot on this show, but this is because this is where I see so many people falter. Great. You have a goal. Now what? Right? What are you doing today? What steps are you taking that are going to move you in the direction of the goal? To use my example, I needed to talk to more coaches. How do I find them? Right? LinkedIn outreach. Right? Start. I had to start actually proactively interacting with people that were passionate about growing their coaching business and building impactful relationships with athletes that will change the course of the endurance industry. Those are the people I want on my team. I wasn't talking to them. Right? That's just the hard, cold facts. I was doing lots of things around that, but I wasn't doing that, right? And at the end of the day, that connection with coaches is what I needed to be doing. Action step, right? Take the plan, get very honest and granular with the plan, and then what do you need to do? What's the action step, right? And make sure that it's a direct bridge, a straight line to that plan, to that goal. Next thing, once you do that, is I want you to develop a process to execute those steps, okay? One of the most common things is, okay, now where do I find the time? Okay, great. When do I do it? Again, I've talked about this a lot on the show. It's something I believe in. You have to time block. Set your schedule up so that it's in alignment with what you say you want. Do a schedule audit, right? Am I spending my days in alignment with who I say I want to be, where I want to spend my time, and what I say my goals are? There's no hiding when you look at how you're actually spending your time. Now, again, I'm not saying that to sound overly critical. or judgmental. It's something that just is a very real fact. It gives us an opportunity to see very clearly where we're spending our time and what that time is in service of. So develop a process to execute on those steps. I would start with setting up your schedule as best you can to move in that direction. Now, if you don't have a lot of fluidity in your schedule, where are the gaps? Right? Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it on the weekends? Right? It may require getting creative. Right? It may require thinking dynamically about the entire week and where you fit that time in. Right? It might not take on kind of a traditional look. That's okay too. When I was building my first business, I was working full time. So the time required was in the mornings and at nights. It was on the weekends. Right? Now I needed to blend that with time with friends and family and other responsibilities I had. You have to map that out. Right? The time is there. We just have to understand how we're using it. And then lastly, surround yourself with people that take you there. I'm sure you've all heard this. We are the sum total of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And I really believe that. And I think it's important to make sure that you have people in your corner that are taking you or supporting your direction. Right? If you have people that you're spending time with that don't believe in what you're doing or are pushing back or are not allowing you to step into that role or your full potential, then we might need to do a bit of pruning. Right? One of my favorite quotes, kind of mantras, is progress requires pruning. Right? And what that means is that as we move forward, there are times when we have to think about what needs to be pruned from our life so that our life supports who we want to be and the goals that we have. Now, I'm not saying you go out and, say to hell with all your friends, but just think critically about who's around you, how your time is set up. What are the things that you can do to set yourself up for success? One of those things is going to be the people you surround yourself with. So make sure that you have people in your corner that are supporting what it is you say that you want. So again, quick conversation today. I purposely want to keep it around 30 minutes because I want to just give you some very short and sweet, clear ways to rethink the pattern interrupt and the action we take. And again, if you get nothing else away from this conversation, I want you to take a second to be honest with yourself. Right? Are you doing everything that you can to move you in the direction of the things you say you want? If not, when can you start? Right? Identify what those things are and start to move forward. Right? Now also, I understand it could be several action steps, or it could be several things. You don't have to do it all at once. What's one thing you can do tomorrow that moves you in the direction or puts you in better alignment with what you say you want? Right? This is a pattern interrupt. You're doing something different. Right? You're not doing the same thing and expecting different results. Right? Albert Einstein says that's the definition of insanity. So to get something different, we have to do something different. And if you feel like right now you're not doing something different, then we need to address that. Right? So again, ways to pattern interrupt. Quick things. Don't feel like you have to boil the ocean. You don't have to do it all tomorrow. Start small. What's one thing you can put into place? Okay, great. Now what's another thing? Right? Pace yourself. It's the sum total of the cumulative effort. It's not one grand heroic effort that wins the day, the year, and even your life. So just start to put these pieces in place little by little. And then most importantly, take action. Right? You have to do something. Do not allow yourself to stop at just setting a goal. That's not an action step. That's a dream. Right? How do you get there? right? And this is where we fall short. Goals are great. I'm a huge proponent of setting daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, decade, lifetime goals. You have to know what direction you're heading. You also have to know what the road looks like to get there. Don't stop at just setting goals. Get granular. Take action. What do you need to do? Who do you need to be around? What do your days need to be structured like, right? All of that adds up to allow you to move in that direction. So I hope this was helpful. Hope everyone is having a great 4th of July week for those of us in North America, in the United States. And for those of you who are not, hope you have a great week as well. As always, enduranceminded.com. Let us know what's going on, what helps, what doesn't, what are you struggling with, what are your wins, what are your losses. We would love to hear from you. It's always great to hear from our listeners. You guys are an amazing community. It's been truly an honor to see how this has grown and developed. I can't thank you enough. If you've yet to do so, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. I say it every time because it matters, right? Rate it on your favorite platform. Subscribe so you can get alerted for our bi-weekly episodes every Tuesday, and share it with your friend. Anyone that you think would benefit from this content, please pass it along. It means the world to me. And just to end, final mention, if you need a pattern interrupt, if you need real concrete opportunity to shift the way that you're thinking and develop skills that are going to help you execute in your life in alignment with the things you care most about, please check out our Impact Initiative Retreat, September 28th through October 1st. It's a long weekend in North Carolina. You can learn more either by looking at the link in our show notes or going to impactinitiative.network. Click Destination Retreats at the top. This is going to be an amazing experience. If you are someone who needs an opportunity to redirect and redefine what it is you're moving towards, and the people in your circle that are helping you do that, this is what you need. So again, that's impactinitiative.network. I hope to see some of our endurance-minded community there. As always, thanks so much. See you next time on Endurance Minded.